Yo,
Michael, you are live on the Next News Network, and I've got my phone up to the microphone. We are streaming live on Facebook for the first time, and if you go and check out the chat room, you are going to see so many voices of Cambodia. The people watching from all over the world are just flooding into the chat room. It is amazing to witness, Michael. Do you have any message for anybody real quick before we jump to our next segment?
yes, absolutely. The candidate that was recently appointed from the State Department to be the next ambassador to Thailand has publicly came forward with a letter to condemn the acts and the crimes against humanity, to condemn Thailand. And he has called on President Trump openly and publicly against a protocol, against all procedures, to immediately return all 18 soldiers home. And he suggested in the letter that we must reconsider the tariff war on Thailand. This is a beautiful, swift move. It's bold. Folks, I don't think anyone understands the magnitude of this. When you are not a sitting ambassador, by rule, by committee, you are not allowed to make any public statements at all whatsoever, not even in your private sector as your job, and not even making any news or any appearances at all whatsoever. But this next ambassador, he took it upon himself, and he's doing the right thing already. And he went public because he knows what is right. And I'm so excited that we have an ambassador that has actual morality and high integrity. And this is going to start a movement. I'm in New York. I'm going to meet with Melania Trump's exclusive senior advisor, Mark Beckman, for 25 years. And good luck, folks. Good luck, Thailand, calling them fake. And you know, Mike, Gary, I've been doing a lot of business with the family for many, many, many years. And they're all very not happy. And I'm going to show them the footage. I'm going to make sure that we don't just have a phone conversation, but we're going to have a nice, long talk over dinner about exactly what Thailand has done and what they're continuing to do. And so Thailand, if they're wise at all, they would immediately return those soldiers home. They'll immediately allow the dead to be buried properly. They will immediately apologize, and they would immediately recuse their general for attempting a military coup for his own political gain. And folks, I also starting a meeting. I already put in a request to meet with Brian Mass. Brian Mass is the head of the chairman of the Foreign Affairs. He's a head person that's in charge of Thailand. Every single dollar that Thailand gets, every single weapon they get, anything at all that they receive from the United States, it's his final signature before it gets to the president's desk. And believe me, he is disturbed. He is disturbed to see exactly what happened here. So,
Michael, a question for you. A question for you. Is Thailand getting more aggressive on other borders right now?
Of course, yes, absolutely. Burma, they saw movement in Burma. So Burma acted quickly. They're calling us actually heroes because we sounded the alarm. They shut down their borders all throughout Burma, and they're moving in the military personnel at every inch of the corner of it with surveillance, with drones, because everyone knows that there's a coup. Look, Gary, there's been 16 coups in the past 25 years. Unfortunately, Thailand, this is going to be the 17th coup that we believe here in Washington, here in New York. And this is devastating for not just Cambodia, but this could be devastating for the neighboring countries.
No, Michael.
And word has it that even Vietnam is now considering putting in troops on their border because of the threats of this general that struck on power, who wants to have control over the Thailand government because his party, the military party, he wants to rule. Go ahead, Gary.
Michael, it's my gut instinct that China is behind a lot of these actions, kind of using Thailand as a proxy nation to disrupt the region in in an effort to test President Trump to see how he reacts, because President Trump is creating peace all over the world. And all of a sudden, if you have this flare up between Cambodia and Thailand starts to act aggressive on other areas, then perhaps China will be testing and watching and doing research to figure out exactly what their next move is, because they're testing to see how President Trump reacts. What are your thoughts?
That's 100% accurate. That's exactly what this is. General Bunsen, he from Thailand, he just publicly announced, he said that we're no longer buying any military warcraft or weaponry from the United States. We're going to be buying all of our weapons from Europe and from Sweden. All of our military crafts is going to be from Sweden, no longer from the United States. He went out and publicly praised the Chinese warships. He said they're better than America. They're the best he's ever seen. The best the best line of products and services that they can offer for Thailand. And so he hasn't confirmed or denied, but he said that he is likely to purchase all Chinese submarines moving forward.
Well, a lot of that technology is all stolen from American contractors anyway.
Right, but here's the thing: Thailand has always been an ally, and Thailand, it hosts. You know, we have our CIA, all of our FBI, all of our headquarters is out. Our largest operation for CIA is out of Thailand, and this causes severe problems if China is successful with this coup, with this military party. And the Trump administration is going to have to quickly take this fire out. And I think they can do it more than one ways. One of the ways is they can immediately step in and say, Thailand, if you don't act right, then we're going to tariff you 100%. And that would cripple the economy. And if they continue to double down on China, then we can increase it to 200%. So, and if they continue to be aggressive against Cambodia, then we can stop buying them artillery shells, because it's 5% engineered in the United States, including Korea, including where they get all their weaponry. And believe me, when President Trump puts them on notice, all the countries are going to, again, not just stop supplying them with weaponry, but they're going to Thailand. And this is the conversation that Washington, D.C. needs to happen right now on everyone's forefront, especially now that we're getting ahead of the talks from Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Gaza. This is on the forefront, and I cannot wait until President Trump addresses this. And believe me, there's going to be consequences. The longer that Thailand tests Trump's resolve, the worse it's going to be for them. And as to your point, you're right. China is definitely watching. China is testing Trump's resolve, because if we're slow to respond to this crisis, then that means we're going to be slow to respond to Taiwan. If there's a war that breaks out in the Southeast Asians and we can no longer rely on our number one ally out of all the Southeast Asian countries and Thailand as a military base to counter and to protect Taiwan, if this relationship falls apart, then Taiwan will, in fact, I guarantee, will be invaded within a year. So
Michael,
this is critical, because this is going to turn into World War III very quickly.
Michael, I want to ask you just one last question. I want to get your reaction, because you actually met with those monks in Cambodia just before they made their huge announcement. I mean, you were marching in the streets with them. And can you give us some insight into what happened just before world news all across the world started to report upon these 70,000 monks that all of a sudden came out and endorsed Donald Trump? Because it was really your boots on the ground and shining a light on the crisis there that, like, I believe was the spark that that made these monks want to break their silence, come out. And then we just saw outside the White House yesterday, there were hundreds and hundreds of Cambodian people praising President Trump. I just want to get your reaction and a little bit of background on that moment.
Thank you. Yeah, so the senior monk from Cambodia, brought me to his home and to share with me their story about their Buddhism. And it's important for the American people to understand why their Buddhist faith and belief system and practice is different unlike any other Buddhist countries. Their Buddhism comes from a story about a king who decided to leave his throne and to become a monk, to be poor, so he can live with the sick and he can be with the people. And because of that, he left Angkor Wat, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, to be homeless and to live his life like that in inspiration of Gandhi. And because of that, he became, the Buddha monk icon of peace. What the monk shared with me was President Trump is like an inspiration from God. He has a beautiful life from Mar-a-Lago. He stepped down not just for America and for the world. And when President Trump was shot and that bullet went by, immediately the senior monk ordered all 70,000 monks to pray for him and to bless him, because he told him that this sitting president is not just for America, but it's for the world. And he said, end quote, every breath, every word is inspired by God. And we are living in times where we can see an actual leader and what he looks like. So, because by every word, every move he does, it's inspired by God. And I told him, I said, it's an honor that as an American, that our president, the leader of the free world, can have such a great impact, not just, on America, but the world. And I'm very thankful for it.
Michael, thank you for your work. I'm going to keep tracking it. It's great to know you. Great to call you a friend. And just keep up the good work and keep us posted, okay?
Yes, thank you for having me, Gary. Thank you all. Upgoing, thank you, and Cambodian. Thank you.
All right. Michael Alfaro, everybody. The man who has single-handedly stepped forward and affected real change in that nation of Cambodia.